Ministers from Egypt, Ethiopia and Sudan have agreed to reconvene later this month to finalize an agreement on the Nile Dam project. The giant hydropower dam project sparked a diplomatic row between Cairo and Addis Ababa. The ministers met in Washington for the third time and agreed to fill the $4 billion dam in stages. The ministers will hold technical and legal talks ahead of their meeting. Egypt fears the dam will restrict water supplies for the country's population of more than 100 million. Addis Ababa has, however, denied the claim. Our correspondent in Cairo, Adel El Mahrouky, has more.
Despite an ultimatum to reach an agreement by mid-January, Egypt, Ethiopia and Sudan say they need more time. A new deadline to reach a final deal has been set to January 29 after a final meeting in Washington, D.C.
The final round of the U.S. talks comes after the Ethiopian Prime Minister asked South Africa to mediate in the Nile talks, which was clear that this round in Washington would not reach any concrete agreement, because Ethiopia appears to be already planning for their next move. Unfortunately, the process is being lengthened, which frustrates Egypt because the filling is expected in July.
After 3 days of intensive talks in the U.S. capital, some progress have been made. The countries have agreed on the principles that should strike a deal. Ethiopia should be committed to fill the dam's reservoir during the rainy season. That concept should be adaptable during cases of extreme drought, according to a statement from the U.S. Treasury, which hosted the talks.
Egypt wants an agreement on operation and filling of the dam, which doesn't cause any harm on Egyptian water security during the coming years. They also want prior agreement before Ethiopia begins to build any water construction or barriers over the Nile, because Egypt depends mainly on the Nile for water.
During the operation of the Ethiopia Dam, water released in the Nile stream should follow a mechanism based on the hydrological state of the Blue Nile to minimize the impact on the downstream Niles, Egypt and Sudan. The three countries should also agree in the next 2 weeks on a method to resolve disputes between them regarding the dam's operation. After 3 days of continuous negotiations, the three countries have only agreed on the principles to reach an agreement. But the details of implementation have always been the obstacles for a deal between these three countries. At least 2 more meetings will be held during the next 2 weeks. Both technical and political meetings will still be attended by the United States and the World Bank. Adel El Mahrouky, CGTN, Cairo.